Well, very recently, I made a trip out to Alabama to visit my mom and my sister, and I got to take a look at a couple of motorcycles that are kind of cool. The first one that you see in the intro clip there is a Ural. It's a Russian motorcycle with a sidecar, and sadly I didn't have time to take that out for a test ride, but at some point I'd like to. I think there's a dealership over in Seattle. It's probably the closest one that I can find to me. Secondly, this is my sister's Ducati Scrambler, and it's an 803cc twin. Has about a half an inch less ground clearance than the Versys X and a whole lot more.
It's a little peppy.
Get up and go. I mean, 800 versus 296. There's quite a bit of difference there. Anyway, I had a chance to just take a fun little ride on the Scrambler, and here's a little bit of video of it.
Recording, dear. I forgot to turn the camera on when I left. Whew. It's actually warm in this helmet, even though it is late at night in late January in Alabama. That's my baby sister's car up front there. And this is her Ducati Scrambler. I've been dying to ride this thing, and it's fun. I wish I had a little bit more time to see if I could go find a place to explore and maybe get this thing off the pavement a little bit, maybe run it a little bit more down the freeway, but this is probably going to have to do for this trip. At any rate, it's quite a bit different feel from the Kawasaki Versys X that I ride. It's a lot peppier, a lot lower to the ground, wider rear tire, wider front tire, and I haven't checked. I'll have to look at the specs. I suspect these are likely not quite as tall, and this bike has a little bit less ground clearance. Feels pretty good though, and I think it's 42 degrees, which is actually warmer than it was when I rode it over to my mom's place this morning. And well, technically this afternoon, but anyway, yeah, so we're gonna take a left here, and no, we're gonna go forward and then take a left. What am I thinking? Can't take a left right there. Anyway, yeah. I had an opportunity earlier today to get this puppy up to 75 or so. Felt pretty good. This bike, I think, weighs around 400. We'll look the specs up. But it's got a roughly an 800cc engine in it, so a little bit more throttle response than the Versys X. It's also higher geared. I mean, I'm running what, 48 in top gear here at 35. I think I was pushing up around 45 on the freeway. We'll have to review the video and see if it shows up. The instrument cluster Looks good on the bike. A lot of the numbers and spacing are small, so if you're a little bit older like I am, it took me a little bit to get used to the layout of the display, but B, a couple of the numbers are just a little bit smaller than I like. One thing about the Versus is that it's got a pretty large display, so it's pretty easy to read. I like having a separate dial for the tach and the speedometer, and in this case they're all integrated into one. But it looks good. It does look good, works good, and once you kind of get used to where you're looking, it's not a problem. I think something that's made me kind of lazy with the Versus is it's actually got a gear indicator on the display panel, and I have to remember to count my shifts on this bike, so a little bit more old school in that respect. I'd also mention that, you know, I think the bike has a pleasing sound. Yeah, that's kind of fun. There's a governor in there.
So anyway, that's just a quick little ride on the Ducati Scrambler. I'm gonna have to make some time next time I go out and visit my little sister to take it out and see if we can find some dirt roads. And I'm sure there's something around the Huntsville area where I could get a little bit of a ride in and just see how it does when you get it off the pavement. But I like the way the bike sounds. It handles pretty well, way different than the Versus. But anyway, yeah. Until next time.